Kind of hard to believe this is still happening today until you realize this is a deed that was written back in 1918, time of the First World War. But basically, it's another incident of something in Quebec's housing market that dates back, obviously, many, many years. And that's the fact that this deed of sale contains a clause that says, I'm sorry, but you can't sell this home to someone who is Jewish. Anne-Marie Ashcroft is a real estate agent, and you discovered this, Miss Ashcroft, when you were trying to sell this house. How did it come about?
Hi, Aaron. Thanks for having me on your show.
Pleasure.
We listed the property not so long ago, and in doing so, we needed to order a new certificate of location,
Okay.
which is effectively a document that sort of shows the position of the property and all that sort of thing. Anyhow, on the certificate of location, under the section marked as servitudes, there was a note that basically referred to a published number, which is effectively the number of that deed of sale to which you just referred in 1918. And the servitude basically states that there is a restriction with regards the sale. So when we go and we look at that deed in 1918, we're able to see that, as you correctly said, there was a restriction in that property cannot be sold to, and I use the word Jews, that terminology, because in French that's what it says. It says les Juifs.
So you discover this, and obviously you're concerned. This is the second time this has happened now in a couple of months. The other home, as I mentioned earlier, in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu. But the problem, as I understand it, Anne-Marie, is that if you're, the person who wants to sell this house and you realize that's part of the servitude now in the certificate of location, you have to be the one to go to court to get this changed?
Well, this is what's crazy. Obviously, my sellers, they're not happy about this, and they only learned about this when they received their new certificate of location. And when I reached out to various notaries, it became very clear that the situation isn't straightforward. It's not just as simple as you can have the matter waived, which is something that the Ministère de Justice sort of threw out in response to the CTV News interview that I did. Because in this particular case, it's written as a servitude, not as an obligation. If it had been written as an obligation, it's something that an obligation is not something that you have to necessarily pass on, but this is a servitude. So it became increasingly clear that in order to have it struck off, my clients would have to take the matter to court, which is obviously asinine when you think about, this is something that is illegal. It goes against public order. It goes against our Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
Well, it kind of makes you wonder how a notary would have approved this or included this in a certificate to begin with.
Well, the thing is it's actually the surveyor that wrote up the certificate of location in this particular instance, and he was actually doing his job, as crazy as that may sound, because it is written as a servitude. So although the nature of the servitude is now illegal, obviously for good reason as well, it's disgusting. But he was doing his job, and that's because at the moment we don't have anything in place legally. We don't have a law in place that allows this to be automatically struck off, and that's effectively what we need. We need something that empowers surveyors and that empowers notaries to be able to immediately flag this with land registry or registre foncier and have it struck off, but I would take that a step further. What I want to see is also that they were obligated to do so that this isn't left as just some sort of, it's not subjective. It's not down to whether someone wants to do it or not. And,
well, obviously bringing this to light is working because I'm reading a piece now that says our Justice Minister, Sonia Lebel, says now the government's going to seek a collective remedy to ensure that homeowners do not have to go to court to have these kinds of clauses stricken from their sale documents. So that's a win.
Yeah, I'm thrilled, Aaron. I'm thrilled that they've come back and they've said that, because that wasn't their position when the CTV News interview aired. And then I had a call from the Gazette yesterday to ask me how did I feel with respect to the response from the Ministère de Justice. To be perfectly frank, I was livid because I don't think this is something that you should be putting on the individual. This is something that's much bigger than that. This is a matter of public order. It's a matter of the Charter rights and freedoms. And it's something that the Ministère de Justice needs to deal with once and for all.
Which they appear to be doing now. So, I mean, just by virtue of the fact that you've made a big story about this, which it should be, and again, as I said, we've had this happen once before. I think maybe after that, people thought, well, that must have been, one of those unusual freak cases, if you will. But we're finding out these things probably exist, and we're probably going to find out about others.
Well, this is the thing. I think from the press's perspective and also from just the public's perspective, when we saw this come out about a month ago with regards to the Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu situation, we thought that was it. We thought, okay, maybe we couldn't be guaranteed that was it, but we weren't aware of any other cases. And then obviously with regards my own listing, it's come to light that there are other instances of this. And then when I reached out to notaries, I was flabbergasted to find out that this is in fact something they see all the time.
Okay.
So it's taken us a little while, obviously, to get this addressed, but I think that, the good old adage, better late than never, and
absolutely.
I'm just happy. I've had calls all day long, from across Canada, believe it or not, even from the United States, and some from Europe, where they've picked up on the story, and it's clearly touched a nerve. It's also touched a lot of people to see that something's being done about it. And I'm just happy for the...
Yeah, and hats off to you for making this. You could have just looked at this and said, okay, it doesn't matter. You're just an agent. You just want to sell this house. But you made enough of an issue of it that it's gone all the way to the provincial government, and there will be a ruling so this doesn't happen again. So congratulations for doing that. Well done.
Thank you. I think the whole company in England Volkers, we're really proud of being able to bring this to light for a second time, and hopefully this time for a final time. And thank you for having me, Aaron.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Anne-Marie Ashcroft, real estate broker who found this. And as I said, now the Justice Minister getting involved, and hopefully this will not be able to happen going forward.